Morning, this is Anthony from Havoc Games. I'm going to do a quick unboxing video to show you what is in the full set of Havoc the Combat card game. This is the box. So let's see if I can get the back in the frame. In terms of what's in it, you have 864 poker-sized cards, not quite 9 pounds of stuff. It's a complete game, not a collectible card game. So, this is what you got. Body, fatigue tokens, bodies for tracking damage, flesh and blood. Fatigue is your stamina, it's how long you can keep fighting. And then we have 2 empty card boxes, 54 card tuck boxes, that you can use to organize your decks. The heart of the game is the combat action cards. These are a mix of attacks, defenses, and pauses. So you have, I forget the number exactly, about 96 pauses. You have 2 tuck boxes. Actually, 96 pauses, I think is what it is. I won't count it all. But we have different types of pause cards. We wanted to create a visual experience in Havoc. So it's not just one pause card. We have different types. A little better focus. Different types of pause cards. Tuck box for only pause cards. You have attacks and you have defenses. So you have 2 boxes of attacks. That's what? Roughly 200, I forget the exact number, of attacks. You have different types of attacks. The basic attacks are thrust, slash, cut, let's see, smash, cuts, jump ahead to smash, smash. Those are the weapon-based attacks, so those are the 4 attacks that are open to any class. Remember, we have 5 classes: the Knight, the Barbarian, Warrior, Rogue, and Citizen. The other types of attacks that we have are the Great Blow, which is exclusive to the Knight class, and the Ferocious Blow, which is exclusive to the Barbarian class. The Ferocious Blow actually gives you the best chance to hit, also has an extra chance of a more injurious result. Great Blow does more damage than anything else. The Great Blow and the Ferocious Blow have limitations there. They're printed on the cards. In addition to attacks, there's 4 basic attacks and the Great Blow and Ferocious Blow. We have advanced attacks. So better fighters, instead of a slash, you can do a deep slash, which has different game data. Usually prowess 4+ only. That means only good fighters. Very high level knights and barbarians could use something called the Ferocious Great Blow, which is a pretty deadly attack. Artful Thrust, advanced version of the thrust. That would be akin to the Deep Slash. So if you're using a sword you can slash or thrust with. So if you become a more advanced fighter, or if you just decide you want to play a more advanced fighter, you could either pick a Deep Slash or an Artful Thrust with a sword. Cuts, something that's used for heavy edged weapons, so axes, broadswords, great swords, long swords, those types of weapons, into a cut, which will wind up delivering, more damage than a slash. Heavy smash, you become better with a mace. And then, so we have 3 versions of the 4 basic attacks. So you have a cut, and then you'd have a heavy cut, which I think I just had in here. Hard cut, my bad. Hard cut, then a master cut. So a master cut is even better than a hard cut. That's for master level fighters. 8 or higher prowess. Master slash. So this is pauses and attacks right now. I did another video on the combat action cards in total, but you also get a box of defenses. And so you have the 4 basic types of defense: blade parry, shield parry, haft parry, and dodge. You have different types of artwork on the cards to give you a full color visualization of the combat action that you're playing. Helps bring you right into the fight. Along with the card play mechanics, of course. So it's basic defenses. You also get advanced defenses. So just like you have advanced versions of attacks, you have advanced versions of defenses. Angled half parry, master shield parry, master blade parry. Masters are for the 8 and higher prowess. The angled half parry, that would be for 4 or higher prowess. Master dodge. Angled shield parry. Fencer's blade parry. So, get the picture. You have a lot of attacks, a lot of advanced attacks, a lot of defenses, a lot of advanced defenses. What else do you get? Went through the foe cards at one point to get a box of foes. There are 35 historical archetypes and 35 fantasy foes and creatures. Dacian Fox Berserker, Kurdish heavy cavalryman. There's some animals: bear, stag, gladiators, of course. So you can play anything from Bronze Age to the Renaissance. Here's an example of a Renaissance fighter using a light sword, wearing a pavé gambeson. His abilities. And again, prowess, body, amount of damage you can take, fatigue, shield berserker. And then we have fantasy foes. So here, foe and archetype. So you get 70 of these. Gives you all the data you need to play the game. What else you got? Well, it's a combat game, so you have weapons and armor. Weapons like the Falk's sword, of course. So here, talk about Falk's, you can do a cut or a half parry. With the sword, you do a slash, a thrust, or a blade parry. If you want to fight as a dragon, you can use a tail swipe. Pike. So you have 70 of these weapon cards. Full color illustration of the weapon. Historically accurate weapon. Illustration. I mean, except, of course, for dragons, right? Use a kick. So you have 70 of those weapons. And you got armor. So we give a couple different types of armor. Patty Gambison, hardened leather. Brigandine, with a D, as opposed to brigantine with a T, which is a type of boat. Scale mail. So the columns here, armor can both reduce to hit chances, also reduces damage. Can give you a wound save, certain types of armor. Wounds are numbered according to certain locations. So this is a body type of armor that can give you a wound save, very good wound save, if you get hit really in the torso area for certain types of cards. Chain plate. Tower shield, medium shield. This is something that's different, I think, about Havoc than a lot of other RPG combat systems. So pole arm, you can use it if it's an active defense, it's done as a half parry, but if you're just pausing, because of the value of the pole arm, it acts as a passive shield parry. Gets in the way of a blow, so it gives you an extra defense if you use a spear or a halberd or something like that. You can also do an improvised shield. Helmets, different types. Gauntlets, greaves. I think you have 39 armor cards. And if you get hit, you could get a serious wound. There's 48, leave one in there, 48 wound cards. Give you a full color illustration of what the pain is that you're experiencing. This one was a particular favorite among a lot of playtesters. So, there are 24 separate wound conditions, 48 cards. So when you draw a wound card, you might get the same card twice, I suppose. Bash conditions are organized the same way. 24 bash conditions, 48 cards. You get the whole deck. Ranging from off balance, driven to a knee, it's a pretty nasty condition. Staggered, reeling, dazed. raised, which is pretty rough. Knocked down, but still able to get back on your feet. And laid out. Anybody who's had a concussion, and I've had several, can tell you that it is hard to get up after a concussion. So 48 bash cards. And what do you play with? Well, you also get 15 class cards. Knight, Barbarian, Warrior, the Rogue, and the non-fighting Citizen. You get 10 of the male variety and 5 of the female variety. Knight, Barbarian, Warrior, Rogue, and Citizen. So you also get prowess cards that give you the game data. These are really the few cards that are not full color illustration. We just decided to err on the side of going with bigger font for the game data. Ranges from weak, untrained, who does less damage and it's harder to hit with, and when they defend, their defenses aren't as effective. Hand size is minimal. To untrained, which does a little less damage. Trained, zeros. To variations of better. 4, 5. So 10 types of prowess, 10 prowess levels, 2 cards each. You also get, I think it's 36 abilities. And these are real game changers. These can disrupt the fight. Some of the abilities, I'll do a video on that at another time to go through it in a little more detail. But, you know, this one, if you lose a weapon in your hand, you can play this ability and boom, recover your weapon. You have a save against bashes. See, this one can only play once for a fight. Duck past. You dodge, weren't hit. You can get behind your opponent. Bloodlust. When the thrill of the fight is on you, you damage to your opponent. You wind up being able to pull another combat action card. Lunge, so you can temporarily extend your length. Anyway, a bunch of these abilities. These are real game changers that disrupt the fight. They have conditions, so they can't be used every time. And they also, you know, certain prerequisites are required. So for strike weakest point, you can play it once a combat round. You have to hit with a thrust. And you can play that. So that means you have to use a spear or a sword or something as a thrusting opportunity. Charge to contact, you can play it once per fight. You had to close this impulse. It's really only in the first impulse of the combat round. Roll 11 plus, you can bash your opponent. You get the point. About half a dozen abilities. About 3 dozen abilities that you can use to play in your fights. We also give admin cards, deck construction, things like, range cards, things like that. So in a combat round, you play your tactic card, 3 tactics. Close, stand ground, and keep distance. Also give, we have a couple of fantasy type situations that can involve poisoning, or shadow revenge, or curse condition. These are also related to free Havoc and so on. And then some cards, some injuries become so significant that you draw not just a wound condition, but you also draw an injury condition. So you have those cards too. So that's a look at the 864 cards. Got tuck boxes to hold the cards. 2 cardboard playmats. Not as spiffy as neoprene playmat, but the same art, same organization. So the place for all your cards. You can track your body and fatigue over here. Those, and then you have 2 rule books. Quick start, which can be used to quickly start, get them running. And then the more detailed handbook. This gives you things like, card maps, some other stuff like that. Missile weapons. Back of the box. And that's it. Thanks for watching, and we hope to earn your support. Bye.